Okay, imagine this. What if every single thing you did was watched? Every word you said was recorded, and even your private thoughts weren't actually private anymore.
It sounds like a nightmare scenario, doesn't it?
It really does. And today, that's exactly where we're going. We're diving deep into the truly chilling world of George Orwell's 1984.
A book that just seems to get more relevant somehow.
Exactly. So our mission here is to really pull out the key ideas, the core warnings from the summary we have, and, give you a kind of shortcut to understanding this hugely important novel.
Yeah, to get right to the heart of Orwell's vision, which is frankly terrifying but essential to grasp.
So let's set the scene. We step into this place, Oceania. And the first thing that just hits you is the sheer level of control. It's everywhere.
It's suffocating, really. The story is set in this dystopian future, 1984, obviously. The world's divided into three giant superstates that are always at war. We're focused on Oceania.
And Oceania is run by the party. It's this uh, completely tyrannical government. And at the top, or at least the face of it, is Big Brother, this mysterious figure who's supposedly watching everything.
That's the thing. The surveillance is total, constant, 24/7. They have these things called telescreens everywhere in your home, out in public. They watch you, they listen to you.
And it's not just about watching what you do. They're worried about what you think. This idea of thought crime.
Precisely. If you even think something that goes against the party line, that's a crime. And they have the thought police to deal with that. It's psychological control on a whole new level.
And they even mess with language itself, don't they? This thing called Newspeak.
Right, Newspeak, the official language. The idea is, well, it's genius in a terrifying way. They're actively cutting down the number of words.
To limit thought.
Exactly. If you don't have the words to express rebellion or freedom, how can you even form the concept? They're trying to make thought crime literally impossible by shrinking the tools you think with.
Wow, okay. And history, truth, that's all fluid too, right? Whatever the party says is true today is what's true.
Completely. Truth is subjective. History is constantly rewritten in the Ministry of Truth to match the party's current narrative.
And personal connections, love, trust.
Dangerous. Subversive, even. The only loyalty allowed, the only love encouraged, is towards Big Brother and the party. Individuality itself is a threat.
Okay, let's unpack this. The sheer scale of control in this world. It's kind of hard to get your head around.
What's fascinating here is how complete the control is, down to individual thought. It's not just external oppression, it's aiming for internal submission.
So right in the middle of this nightmare, we meet Winston Smith, our main guy. He's, 39? Seems like just another ordinary person on the surface.
Yeah, just a cog in the machine. His job is actually at the Ministry of Truth, the place we just mentioned. He's one of the people rewriting history.
So he's actively participating in the lie.
Externally, yes, but inside. That's where it gets interesting. Deep down, Winston feels like something is deeply wrong. He secretly hates the party, hates Big Brother. He dreams of something else.
And he takes this huge risk.
A massive risk. He starts writing a diary, just writing down his real thoughts. In this society, that's basically signing your own death warrant if you're caught.
Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
In a world where even a disloyal thought could betray you, the courage it takes to actually write it down.
It's immense. It shows that even in the most oppressive system, that spark of wanting truth, of wanting to be an individual, it's hard to completely extinguish, at least initially.
And then things shift a bit. He meets Julia.
Ah, Julia, yes. She's described as this bold, younger woman, seems like a loyal party member on the outside, but secretly she just hates the rules, loves pleasure, loves breaking the small rules.
And they connect.
They do. They fall in love, start this secret affair, which is, of course, totally forbidden. It's an act of rebellion in itself, purely personal.
They find this little hideaway.
Yeah. They rent a room above an old antique shop, a place with no telescreen. It becomes their sanctuary, this tiny pocket of freedom where they can just be themselves together.
Yeah.
They start dreaming of, real freedom.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The glimmer of hope they find, or think they find.
Right. They start believing they can actually fight back. They get this idea about joining the Brotherhood, this legendary underground resistance movement, supposedly led by Emmanuel Goldstein, the party's ultimate enemy figure.
But it's not real.
That's the crushing part. It's all a setup, a trap laid by the party. They eventually get caught by the thought police right in their sanctuary room. And the reveal is brutal. The party knew what they were doing all along.
Oh, man. So even that hope was manufactured by the system they were trying to fight.
Exactly. It demonstrates the party's terrifying omniscience within that society. Real, organized resistance seems almost impossible.
So capture. Winston is taken to the Ministry of Love, which sounds nice, but...
It's anything but. It's the place where they deal with dissidents. It's the torture chamber, essentially.
And the person in charge of his re-education is O'Brien.
Yes, O'Brien. This high-ranking inner party member who Winston had actually felt a connection with earlier. He'd secretly hoped O'Brien was also against the party, maybe even part of the Brotherhood.
That betrayal must be devastating.
It's part of the psychological destruction. O'Brien tortures Winston physically, yes, but the mental and psychological torment is relentless. He wants to break Winston completely.
To make him give up Julia. Give up his own mind.
Everything. He forces Winston to confront contradictions, to accept that 2 + 2 can equal 5 if the party says so. He breaks down his sense of reality, his memory, his loyalties. Winston is forced to betray Julia in his mind.
And then there's room 101.
Room 101, the final step. It's different for everyone. It contains your single greatest fear, the worst thing in the world, whatever that is for you personally.
And for Winston, it's rats.
Yes. He has this deep-seated phobia of rats. And in room 101, O'Brien threatens him with a cage of starving rats, ready to gnaw his face off. And faced with that absolute, unbearable horror, Winston just snaps. He screams for them to do it to Julie instead, to inflict the horror on her, not him. That's the final betrayal.
He gives in completely.
Utterly. At that moment, his inner resistance is annihilated. The party has won. They haven't just made him obey, they've made him betray his deepest remaining loyalty. And from there, they rebuild him.
This raises an important question about the nature of freedom and psychological resilience. Can anyone withstand that?
Orwell seems to suggest that under that level of systematic, personalized torture, maybe not. The goal isn't just to make you comply, it's to make you love Big Brother, to genuinely accept the party's reality as your own.
So what happens to Winston in the end?
By the end of the book, he's been released. He's a broken man, sits in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, drinking victory gin, tracing 2 + 2 = 5 in the dust. He's hollowed out.
All the rebellion gone.
Completely. He's watching the telescreen, feels a surge of not hate, but love for Big Brother. He accepts everything. He's waiting for the eventual bullet, but his mind is already conquered.
And that final line.
Chilling, isn't it? He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. It's the ultimate defeat.
So when we look at the big picture, what Orwell was warning about back in 1949.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the insidious nature of this type of control, it's a massive warning against totalitarianism, obviously, against censorship, against mass surveillance.
But it's deeper too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It dives into how governments can control truth itself, how language can be manipulated to shape thought, the devastating effects of psychological torture, and maybe the scariest bit, how easily people can be conditioned to adore their oppressors. It's about the complete erasure of the individual's spirit.
It feels so prescient. 1984 isn't just some old story, is it? It feels like a warning that's still shouting at us.
Many people feel it's more relevant today than ever before. Yeah.
When you think about, debates around government surveillance, facial recognition, social media tracking.
Or the spread of misinformation, fake news, echo chambers online, how narratives can be shaped and truth becomes slippery.
It really is a chilling mirror sometimes, isn't it?
It forces you to ask uncomfortable questions about the direction we're heading in.
Which brings us to maybe the biggest question Orwell leaves us with, and one that feels very current.
Do you think we're living in a version of 1984 today? Even a partial one.
Something to definitely keep thinking about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Keep exploring these vital topics.